In this video, I want to talk about the fleet tracking, which is a new service available today on TZ Professional version 4.1, but it will also soon be available on Furuno multifunction display TZT2 and TZT3, beginning of 2021. So what is the fleet tracking? Well, the fleet tracking is a paid TIMEZERO service that allows you to group multiple vessels under a fleet. So here, for example, you can see that we have a couple of vessels and also operating center. So they each have their own TIMEZERO account. And then after you have to contact us so that we can bundle all of these TIMEZERO accounts together under a fleet. So for example, on vessel A, we just have a computer loaded with TZ Professional. Vessel B will be a mixed network of TZ Professional and MFD. Vessel C here is just loaded with an MFD, so that will be applicable where, you know, on smaller vessel where it's not practical to have a PC. It will work beginning of 2021 if you just have an MFD on the vessel. And then after we have two operating centers that I name Center A and Center B. So Center A will have a copy of TZ Professional home port. So this is a special version of TZ Professional which is not for navigation, but which is less expensive and that can be useful, you know, if you want to install TZ Professional in your office to monitor your asset and your fleet. But also, if you just need to see the position of your fleet on a big screen, for example, you can use any web browser, Edge or Safari. So you don't need to have and to load TZ Professional home port. All right, so of course, for the fleet tracking to work, you need an internet connection on at least one device per vessel. It does not need to be a permanent internet connection. So for example, you know, you could have a cellular connection, a GSM connection, and when you are near shore, then you do have an internet connection, but you are going offshore, you can lose that internet connection. That's fine because we have what we call store and forward, so that TZ Professional or the MFD is able to store all of the position that you cannot send to the server when you are out of line. And then when you come back online, it will send the history. Okay, so you do not lose any track. So that's very nice. Of course, it will also work with satellite connection or any other type of internet connection that you can install on your vessel. So the device which is connected to the internet will need to be logged into a TIMEZERO account, and of course that TIMEZERO account needs to be bundled into a fleet. And then real-time position report will be sent to the TZ Cloud server. So by default, one position report will be sent every 30 seconds, but you can go down to 5 seconds if you want a faster refresh rate. And we do include depth and wind information with the position report, so that can be interesting. So we made sure that to keep this position report as small as possible. And it's about 500 bytes per report, and keep in mind that what we call position report is in fact a position plus course over ground, plus speed over ground, plus depth and wind information. Okay, so it's a bundle of information. So 500 bytes is about 1.5 megabytes per day at the default reporting interval, which keep in mind is once every 30 seconds, so it's quite accurate. So of course, if you have a satellite connection, that might be an issue. So you can decrease the reporting interval and then it will drop down to 150 kilobytes per day for a 5-minute reporting interval, but you can even decrease it further to one position report interval every 20 minutes or every hour, and then it drops considerably. And each time you want to send a route or boundary through the fleet tracking, which is one of the features of our fleet tracking service, it's about 2 kilobytes per route or boundary you send to a specific vessel. And like I explained, so we do have store and forward capability so that if you lose internet access for a little bit, then the MFD or TZ Professional will store all of this missing position report that cannot be sent, and as soon as you have internet connectivity again, you'll be able to send all of that missing report. And the store and forward capability is up to 7 days or 20,000 position report. So actually, we're going to talk about that at the end, but even if you have no internet connection at sea, if you just have an internet connection at the harbor, you could even use the fleet tracking service. All right, so in TZ Professional, this is a list of all the features you get when you subscribe to the fleet tracking service. So of course you can send and receive position of your fleet member, and again, it's every 5 seconds down to 1 hour. That's up to you. And we have store and forward, meaning again the computer can be offline for up to 7 days. And you'll see that in TZ Professional, you'll get a dedicated fleet target list, and you can customize the icon on the chart. So you can change the color, and you can also change the name, and you can use your own nickname if you want. A little bit like what we do with AIS already. So something very interesting, you'll be able to send and receive user object across the fleet. So it means that, let's say for example, you create a route, you create a boundary, you'll be able to send that boundary over the air to a specific vessel in your fleet through the internet. And what's really cool is, if that vessel is not connected while you send the route or the area, it will be stored on the server until the next time that vessel connects to the internet. And then it will be able to receive the route or boundary or whichever object you send to it. And also what's nice, you'll be warned, so you'll get a notification when your object, when your user object is delivered to that vessel. So you know exactly when that vessel received your information. So it's very, very nice and very important for search and rescue operation, for example, to know that the vessel really has received your information. And then on TZ Professional, when you click on a fleet target, you will be able to display a trail. And we are going also, or the software is going to record and replay the fleet target for almost an unlimited amount of time. Okay, so we can store many, many months of target history, which is nice because you can either go back, to yesterday, see where the fleet was, but you can even go back multiple months to see, for example, at a specific month in your year where you, for example, your fishing fleet was. We also have fleet target filter that you can filter on the list and on the chart. So let's say, for example, you only want to pay specific attention to a couple of vessels, you can do that in TZ Professional. And also something very cool is that alarm zone will react to fleet target. So very important, for example, for a fishing fleet, where, for example, the operating center will be responsible to create alarm zone and then dispatch this alarm zone to the vessel or to the fleet automatically. If a vessel enters a forbidden or an alarm zone, you'll be notified at the operating center level. And we also have an anchor watch on fleet target. So it's not really useful for monitoring an anchor watch per se, but you can very easily right-click on a fleet target and drop an anchor watch that will tell you and alert you when that vessel moves. So for example, if you want to be alerted when a fishing vessel or when a search and rescue operation vessel is leaving the harbor, you can drop an anchor watch very easily on a specific fleet target. Okay, so on TZT2 and TZT3, there will be a new firmware available beginning of 2021 that will bring the fleet target feature to the MFD. However, you will not have all of the features we just discussed. Okay, the MFD, you will only be able to send and receive the position. So you'll be able to send your own position and see the position of other fleet member on your MFD screen. The MFD will be able to do a store and forward, meaning that the MFD can go offline for up to 7 days, like we discussed. And you will also get a dedicated list, dedicated icon on the chart, just like with TZ Professional, and you will be able to receive user objects from a command center. So you'll be able to receive user objects that are being sent from another TZ Professional. But you will not be able to send user objects from your MFD to somebody else at this time. That might come later, but with the first version, it's just receive only on MFD. And also you don't have any trail, or you don't have any record and replay or filter. All of these features are only available on TZ Professional. But the basic is supported with your MFD. And after we have what we call the TZ Cloud feature, which is a web browser. So if you open any web browser, and if you log into your My TIMEZERO account, and if that TIMEZERO account is part of a fleet, you'll be able to see on a basic Google map all of the fleet target icon. And you will also have a trail when you select on a target. Of course, it's not as powerful as TZ Professional, but if you just need to know where your assets are, for example, on the big screen, you can just use a web browser and it will auto-refresh automatically, and you will be able to see all of your fleet target move on the big screen. So that's pretty nice. All right, so a couple of examples where the fleet tracking service could be useful. So the first one will be for Coast Guard or Water Police or search and rescue operation. So the typical setup will be a TZ a professional home port installed at the operating center on land. And then that operating center can kind of, compute the search and rescue or organize the pattern, organize the area to survey, and then send this user object, either the search and rescue route or the area, to specific vessel or all vessel on the fleet, and kind of coordinate from land automatically. And then the user, on the vessel, which has either TZ Professional or an MFD, will automatically receive the route or the area. The operating center will have a confirmation that the vessel has received the area, so that it makes very easy to coordinate your assets. And even if you have TZ Professional on your vessel, and if you take a picture and import that picture on TZ Professional, or maybe even use TZIBot, which is locally synchronized to TZ Professional, you could take a picture right from TZIBot from your mobile phone using the camera of your phone, and then you can send that photo back to the operating center from TZ Professional. That's cool. Another type of example would be a fishing fleet. Usually, for fishing fleets, first of all, you can monitor your asset. You can know where your vessel and fishing vessel are, but you can also send recommendation. So for example, let's say your TZ Professional home port at the office is monitoring the weather and the oceanographic and that kind of stuff. It can maybe draw some areas that are dispatched to the fishing vessel as a recommendation to tell to the vessel where to fish. But also, same thing with forbidden area, what we call MLPA in the USA. The operating center could keep the database updated and then dispatch the database directly to each vessel on the fleet automatically. That's why they have forbidden area displayed on their screen. And also what's nice is the fleet tracking operates a little bit like a private AIS group. So of course, in some countries, you have a fishing vessel asked to transmit AIS, but in other countries, you might not have to transmit AIS, but then if you want to keep an eye of your fishing fleet, basically you can use the fleet tracking service as kind of a private and secret AIS. And of course, we have store and forward. And that means that, of course, if you don't have an internet connection, you will not get real-time update. However, if you just need to know where your vessel were, for example, or if you just need to push recommended area or forbidden area when they reach the harbor, what you can do is you can just have an internet connection at the harbor, and then automatically, TZ Professional will contact the server, download, the latest, area, and upload all of the fishing history, I would say, all the, position report up to 7 days or 20,000 position report. So, even if you do not have a real-time internet connection at sea, you can still use that service. Okay, so let's have a look at TIMEZERO Professional. The first thing you have to make sure is that you are logged in to a MyTIMEZERO account. So you can go to the options MyTIMEZERO, and that will be displayed at the very top here. And make sure that this is a TIMEZERO account which is bundled into your fleet, okay? And then you have to enable that option, the report my position automatically to MyTIMEZERO. And in fact, that option will not only allow you to report your own position, but also download position from other vessels in your fleet. You can adjust here your own position report frequency. By default, it's 30 seconds, but you can go down to 5 seconds or as low as 1 position report per hour if you have, satellite connection and if you want to save some bandwidth. So I'm going to actually increase it to 5 seconds. And then you can also check or uncheck if you want to include with each of these position report additional information like depth or wind. It's up to you. And then when you are, make sure that you are logged in and you have checked that option, you are pretty much good to go. And at the top right of your screen, you will see that new icon. It looks like a Wi-Fi icon, which is displayed in green right now. That means you are connected to the fleet server. If for whatever reason the internet connection goes down, then that icon will turn red to let you know that you are not reporting your position right now and you are not either able to download real-time position from other vessels in your fleet. But as soon as you get back an internet connection, TZ Professional will connect automatically to the server. The icon will switch to green. And keep in mind that with the store and forward, you will upload to the server all of your missing position and will also download all the missing position from other vessel in your fleet, so that when you display a trail on a fleet target, you will have a continuous trail, okay? Even if you have lost in internet connection for a little bit. So speaking of that, let's have a look at how a fleet target looks in TIMEZERO. So here I'm going to open the fleet list, and here it's a list very similar to the AIS list, and you can of course reorganize the column and change the sorting order. So for example, here I'm going to sort by last, so that I have the vessels that have updated their position lately at the top of the list, so we can see all of the real-time position upload here, and I have that vessel here. I'm going to click on it. And of course, so you have the vessel name, you have the vessel MMSI, and you can change the color, you can do a lot of things from the list, just like with the AIS list. So pretty easy to use. So here you can see that there is a trail, and you can adjust the trail length just like any other target, AIS target, by going to the target option, and at the very top you have the target trail length. Right now it's set for 1 hour, but I can make it smaller, 15 minutes for example, or I can make it longer, up to 2 hours if I want. Okay, so of course, if I want to know where that fleet target was, like 3 or 4 hours ago, or even 1 day ago, I can go to the planning workspace and use the record and replay. Okay, so the trail is just meant to give you a quick overview of where that vessel was up to the last 2 hours. Okay, so yeah, so when I click on that vessel, I'll get also a tooltip, so I don't have to have the list displayed at the bottom. I can just click on a vessel, and very important, I see when that position report was last updated, so it was 2 seconds ago, so it's almost real time here. And then I have the name of the vessel, its position, and you can see I have the wind speed and the direction. Here I don't have the depth, because maybe the depth is not sent right now from that vessel. Okay, so let's maybe go on another vessel. Here I have another vessel in, looks like Seattle, which seems to be docked, but reporting its position right now in real time. Okay, so let's have a look at the record and replay. So I'm going to switch workspace. I'm going to go to the planning workspace that offers a timeline. So let's go actually with a live vessel here. You can see here I have a vessel that I guess fished in that area. So as I go back in time, I can know exactly where that vessel was, and I also have a trail on that historical target. So it's very nice, and again, there is no limitation on the amount of data we can record in the fleet target record and replay with TZ Professional. So if you want to look at where your vessel were like last month or last year, you can certainly do so with the timeline here. So it's very, very convenient. Okay, so on TZ Professional, so let's go back to real time. So let's say, for example, I would like to be notified when that vessel leaves the harbor. What I can do, I can just right-click on it, and I can set an anchor watch alarm around that vessel. And that means that if that vessel leaves that area, automatically I'll get a notification in TIMEZERO. What I can do also in TIMEZERO, I can, let's go back to that vessel here. I can, let's say maybe I can create a new area. So I'm going to right-click boundary area and create a boundary alarm area. So I'm going to set that as a target alarm. And if that fleet enters that forbidden area, then I will have a notification on my TIMEZERO. And keep in mind that if I want to send that same area to the vessel, I can right-click, send to, and here I have all of the vessels that are part of my fleet. Actually, I have 2 fleets under my account. But here, so the Accurate is, I guess, the name of the vessel. So I'm going to find it in the list. Here it is, and I'm going to send it. And here you'll see there will be a send icon, which is yellow at the beginning, meaning that the area is being sent. And when it turns green, and when you have also a notification at the top of your screen, it means that that vessel has actually received that area. So you have a confirmation, which is also recorded in the list of alarm on your own TIMEZERO, and you are sure that that vessel has exactly the same area. So on his side, that fishing vessel will be notified if he enters that area, but you will also be notified at the control center level. Okay, and you can send area, but you can also send search and rescue route. So as you know, so here I'm going to delete that area. But here I'm going to use a route. We have multiple patterns, so I'm going to use that one, just like that. And I create a pattern, and I'm going to right-click and send it that way. I can also right-click on the vessel itself and send whichever the planning route is. And because this is the route I just selected, so this is a planning route, I can right-click, send, and same thing, you'll get an icon, and you can see that it has been received almost immediately here. And then the vessel can use a search and rescue. And something also very nice is if you make modification to that search and rescue area. For example, there are some currents, so you compute on the operating system that maybe you should move a little bit that area to another area, and if you send it again, then it will get updated on that vessel. So you are not going to send another route. The original route you send will be updated, and of course the vessel will get a notification from that. Okay, so let's have a look at the MFD. So beginning of 2021, there will be a new firmware update for Namnet TZT2 and Namnet TZT3 that will make them compatible with the fleet tracking service. And what you have to do, you have to connect the MFD to usually a wireless network or wireless gateway that will provide an internet connection to the MFD. So either a satellite connection, or maybe you have a wireless router with a SIM card and GSM connection, whatever the source is. So anyway, you just click on the home button and you go to settings, and there under the general settings you'll simply go to the wireless LAN setting and you'll connect your MFD to an existing Wi-Fi network. You can see that I'm connected to a NavNet network and I have a good IP address, and of course on that NavNet network I have an internet connection. Then what you can do, and actually I didn't talk about that with TZ Professional, but if you go to the initial setup on the MFD or TZ Professional, you can give a name to your vessel here, bot name, and you can also give an MMSI and a size of your vessel. And that information will be used to create your fleet vessel, okay? And especially the MMSI is important. So the good news is if you are connected to an AIS, class A or class B, the MMSI and actually the name will automatically be inserted from your AIS information. So as long as you have a good MMSI number programmed on your AIS, and that AIS is connected to either TIMEZERO or the MFD, then you'll get a good MMSI. So here, of course, I have a fake MMSI. And if you do not have an AIS receiver, then you enter the MMSI. And it's better to do that before you initially connect to the fleet tracking service, because the fleet target vessel will be linked to your MMSI. So it's important to have that information. Anyway, once you're done that, you go back to the general menu. And here, of course, you need to log in to your TIMEZERO account. So here I'm already logged in, but you just press the login button. If you are not logged in, you enter your email, your password, and of course, that TIMEZERO account needs to be registered as a fleet member. And then you select your reporting interval. Right now it's 30 seconds, the default, and you select or you enable the report position to TIMEZERO. You'll notice on MFD we do not have a position or the option to include the depth and wind. On the MFD, if you do have depth or wind data coming from your NME 8000 bus, for example, they will always be sent to the fleet tracking server. There is no choice like you can on TZ Professional. Okay? And then, if you want to know if your MFD is actually connected to the fleet tracking server, there is now a new status icon. If you press the home button, you can see on the top right here, that kind of vessel icon with a Wi-Fi icon. This one is only displayed whenever you have selected report my position to TIMEZERO. And then the color will be white if you are connected and red if you are not connected. Red, a little bit like the heading here. I don't have any heading sensor connected to my MFD. So right now, the heading sensor status is red. And if you are not connected to the network, it will be red. Be careful, that icon, that Wi-Fi icon, just means that you are connected to a wireless network. It doesn't mean you are actually connected to the internet and to the fleet tracking server. That icon is a new icon that indicates when you have a good connection. And then, once you are connected to the fleet tracking server, you can go to your list and you should see a new fleet list available here, just under AIS. And if you select that, then you will see all of the vessels in your fleet. Same thing, you can sort by range or last update. So you can see here we have a couple of vessels that are updating right now in real time. So actually, let's select that same vessel, the Okure, which I believe is a fishing vessel. So let's tap on it. And here you can adjust nickname, color, but you can also see some of the information of that vessel, which is transmitting right now. And you can also select Find on Chart if you want to zoom in on that vessel on the chart. If you tap on a fleet target, you'll get a tooltip with basic information. Again, the last update, which is critical information to know how old that target is, and you can see it's updated in real time. And if you want more information, you can actually click on here, and it brings that panel on the side. So you can see, the name of the vessel, MMSI, size, and that kind of information. So you'll notice there is no trail like there is on TZ Professional. There is no record and replay. Also, you cannot send from your MFD a route or boundary to another vessel in your fleet. You can receive from somebody else, but you cannot send right now. So actually, I'm going to show you how it looks when somebody else is sending to you a boundary or a search and rescue pattern. And to do so, I'm going to center back on my own vessel position, okay, which is back in Florida. And I'm going to go on my TZ Professional, and I'm going to send a route to that MFD. So I just send a route from TZ Professional to this MFD. And you can see that we have a notification that is displayed at the top of the screen, fleet user object received from vessel name. So I'm going to dismiss that notification. And you can see that a route just appeared, and if I tap on it to expand it on the MFD, I can see my search and rescue pattern that I just received from that vessel. And then I can very quickly, activate and start the navigation. So if you have any question, feel free to send us an email to ask us more information about that new fleet tracking service.